Good morning, people. Before you get into the video, I just wanted to say that this video is just about my experience with my pregnancy and my miscarriage, and everybody's body is different and everybody's pregnancy is different and everybody's experience with a miscarriage is different, and this is just my experience and what my doctor and I thought was the best decision for me and my body when I was going through it. So I just wanted to preface that and say that because I know every situation is different for every person. And so if you have gone through a pregnancy or you've gone through a miscarriage, your experience may not be the same as mine. Please ignore my appearance in the video. I do not have like a ring light or anything that other people have, so I just tried to get the best light as I could. I just gotten out of the shower, but I wanted to make the video because I had been trying to make the video for so long and just didn't have the time and didn't have the mental capacity to do it, and I didn't have the space to do it to where I could just be at home and just by myself and make the video, record the video or whatever. But I hope you guys enjoy listening, even though it's a tough subject, and we'll see you next time. Bye. Hey everybody. I have missed you guys and missed telling you what's going on with us. As most of you know, if you follow me on Facebook and Instagram, we were pregnant and I had a miscarriage and I had to have surgery. So I wanted to just talk about that with you guys. I have been waiting a couple weeks to talk about my pregnancy and the miscarriage and my surgery, for two reasons. One, because I was not in a place to do that, but two, because I was waiting to see what was going to happen and what our next steps were going to be. So I want to update you guys on that as well. So I will be talking about my pregnancy first, and then I'll talk about the miscarriage and the surgery that I had, and then I will talk about where we are now and what's going to happen next. So if you do not want to hear about my pregnancy and how I found out, how Matt found out, blah, 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 then you can skip forward and just go to the miscarriage and surgery part of this video at this timestamp. And if you just want to know, if you know about it and you don't really want all the, I don't want to say juicy details, but juicy details about the miscarriage and my surgery, and you just want to know what's going on now and where we're at, then you can go to this timestamp. So I will start out with finding out that I was pregnant, because it was very, very exciting for both of us, for me and for Matt. So I found out that I was pregnant on Sunday, April 11th. In the week before, I had been having a lot of stomach cramps, and I honestly thought that entire week that something was just wrong with my stomach, that something was wrong with my digestive system, I was getting sick, something, and that it would eventually go away. And so on Friday, Matt had told me, because my stomach had been hurting all week, just really crampy, and it wasn't like my normal menstrual cycle cramps. It was very different. It was a little higher. It was very, very strange. And he said, I think you need to take a test. And I told him, no, I'm not going to take a test. And he said, why? And I said, well, and he said, you don't want to get your hopes up. And I said, no, I don't, because that had happened multiple times. And then on Saturday, I didn't take one. And Saturday I woke up and I went to go have a massage, because I had already scheduled to get a massage. And I felt great that morning. honestly, I felt fantastic. And then we had to go get a box spring for a friend of mine. And so I went home after my massage, got Matt, we went to go do that, and then we decided to have lunch after we dropped off the box spring. And we went up, we ordered, and we sat down, and as soon as we sat down, my stomach started hurting. It was just instantaneous, and it was worse than it had been all week. And I said, I have to go to the bathroom. So I went to the bathroom, and while I'm in there, I knew I had to puke. I had to throw up. And so I did, and I texted Matt, and I said, hey, I'm throwing up, I'm sick, but I'm okay, because after I did throw up, I felt a lot better. And I said, just get my food to go. And I'd been in there for a while, so he was probably thinking, what's going on with her? And I said, just get my food to go, just get me a box. If you want to stay and eat, that's fine. Because I felt fine at that point. And so I said, if you want to stay, then that's fine. Go ahead and eat, and I'll just take mine home. We came home, and I was extremely tired. So I said, I'm going to take a nap. And we took a nap, and then we woke up, and a couple hours later, we decided to go get dinner and bring it back. And we got back, and I started eating. I ate one bite of my food, and I said, I have to go to the bathroom again. And I went. I did not have to throw up, thank goodness, but my stomach was killing me so bad. I'm thinking, okay, what is going on? Like, is there something going on with my intestines? Is just what is happening? Because I'm not sure, and it hurts. And so I said, I'll just call the doctor on Monday. Well, I go back in the bedroom, and Matt says, I think you really need to take a test. I said, well, I don't think I really need to, because I don't think it's that. I don't think I'm pregnant, but I will. I said, I'll take one in the morning. So before I went to bed that night, I got out 2 pregnancy tests. I got out my Dollar Tree test and my Clear Blue test. So I woke up Sunday, and when I woke up, Matt was actually coming to bed. He works third, so he was coming to bed because he had to work that night. I got up, and I went to the bathroom, and I have a little cup that I use when I take these tests or my ovulation test. And I used my cup. The Dollar Tree test takes 3 minutes, and the Clear Blue takes 5. So I set my timer for 5 minutes. And as I was cleaning up, rinsing out my cup, cleaning my cup, not rinsing out my cup, but cleaning my cup, and, cleaning up the bathroom and stuff, I noticed a second line on the Dollar Tree test, and I was like, oh, that looks like another line. That looks like 2 lines, that's what you're supposed to have. And so I waited. I was like, you have to wait. And so it hit the 3-minute mark, and I looked at it, and it was 2 lines. Like, it was very distinct 2 lines. And so I ran into Nanny's bedroom, and I was like, Nanny, guess what? And I told her, and I said, I'm not going to tell Matt yet. I'm going to tell him later. And so I went back to check the Clear Blue test, because that's the one that says pregnant or not pregnant. And it had a little error on it, and I was like, oh no, there's an error. So I had to wait later that day to take another one. And so I took another one, and I set my timer for 5 minutes again. And it had like 3 minutes and something left on the timer, and it said pregnant. It was great. But I knew that I didn't want to wake Matt up and tell him, because he had to work that night. And so I decided that I was going to go to Target. I was going to get a couple things to surprise him. So I went, and I got a onesie, and I got some pacifiers, and I came home, and I knew how I was going to set it up, but I needed him to wake up first. So I had to wait and wait and wait until he woke up to get ready to go to work. And I went in there, talked to him for a minute, and I said, ooh, can I show you what I got at Target today? And he said, yeah. And so I started to come down the hallway, and I said, I need you to close your eyes. I need you to stand up and close your eyes. And he said, okay. So he did, and then I put everything on the bed, and we have a letter board, which I think some people have seen in some of my Instagram, Facebook posts, whatever. And so I put on there with our letters, I can't wait to meet you, Daddy. I'd gotten Matt a card, and so I just set it up, and I'll show you guys a picture of it. And that's how I told Matt that we were expecting our little baby. And of course he cried, and I cried, and it was wonderful, and we were just so happy. And of course Matt had to go to work, so we didn't get to spend a lot of time together that night, but he went to work just happy as a clam. And so it was wonderful. And so that was on Sunday. And the next day, on my way to work, I called my doctor's office and said, hey, just want to let you guys know I took 2 pregnancy tests yesterday. They were both positive. What do I need to do? And she said, okay, we need to get you in for your blood work and your initial intake. And I said, okay, great. So I did that the following day, which was on Tuesday. And when I went, they talked to me about a lot of things. They got my medical history and took a lot of blood. Took so many vials of blood. I know I'm exaggerating in saying it was like 30 vials, but it really wasn't. It was more like 7 or 8. But to me, watching it and all of that blood come out, it was a lot. And then they went ahead and scheduled my first ultrasound. So when the day that I found out that I was pregnant, which was the Sunday, April 11th, I was 4 weeks and 3 days. So at that point, 2 days later, I was 4 weeks and 5 days. So they scheduled my first ultrasound closest to my 8 weeks, and they scheduled it the day before my 8 weeks, so 7 weeks and 6 days. And that was scheduled for May the 5th. And so from April 11th until May 5th, we were just so happy. And we of course we told our close friends and family. We had planned to tell my dad after my first ultrasound, because I wanted to have an ultrasound to show my daddy. And we had this cute little thing planned for those couple of weeks. We were, planning names and talking about what we wanted the nursery to look like. And I'd started a baby book. My sister sent us a beautiful baby book, and I had started writing in there. I had bought I don't exactly know what to call it, but it was like a pregnancy journal devotional. I know that sounds really weird, but that's what it was. And so I'd started reading that. And last year when there was something else that I gave Matt when I told him. It was, and I'm sure you saw it in the picture, but it was the Father's Guide to Children, or whatever it was. And we actually bought that when we were in Portland last year, because we were trying at that point. And Matt bought that for him, and I bought What to Expect When You're Expecting. And so I'd started reading that too. After I found out that I was pregnant, that week started a lot of nausea. I was never sick again from that point on in my pregnancy, but I had a lot of nausea. I had a lot of fatigue. I would get tired in the middle of the day, and it got to a point where I would go to my car during the day at work as my lunch break, and I would take a nap for about 30 minutes because my body was so tired. I started drinking a lot of water because I am a huge fan of Pepsi, and you are not supposed to have a lot of caffeine when you are pregnant. I completely just stopped drinking coffee. I did get decaf, but I think I only had a couple cups of decaf, and then I was like, I can't do decaf. So that was out of the question. I didn't have any smell problems, things that made me sick. I didn't have any of that, or stuff that made me nauseous. I didn't have any of that. The only thing that really affected my eating or anything was my taste buds changed. And so there were some things that I could not taste as well, that they didn't really have much of a flavor. And then there were other things that had a lot of flavor. There were some things that I ate normally that I thought, oh man, this is super spicy, even though it really wasn't. But there was never anything that I craved that I normally didn't eat, or didn't crave that I normally ate. Does that make sense? I also had started taking pictures every week. I took a picture of myself, to the side the day that I found out. And that day I also told my sister and my brother, and they were super, super excited. And so every Thursday I would send them an update picture and how I was feeling that week. And I think I did it with my brother and my sister and my brother's girlfriend and my cousin, because they all knew. And so every week I would say, good morning, dumpling is the size of whatever, because I'd started doing that. And I had started putting on the letterboard like what I'd been feeling that week, like week 5, nausea, tiredness, stuff like that, and what size Dumpling was. And Dumpling was the name that Matt and I chose for our little baby. And that was about it until I went for my first ultrasound. The day of my first ultrasound was Wednesday, May 5th, and that morning I felt great. I did have nausea, but I felt amazing. I had taken a picture of myself because I knew the next day would be like my 8-week mark, but I wanted to take a picture of myself the day, that I was gonna see my baby. So I went to the doctor. I didn't have to wait very long. And the nurse comes to get me, and she said, just come in here. She explained everything, like what was going to happen, because I did the internal ultrasound instead of just the belly ultrasound. And so she said, I'm going to let you get undressed. And she said, just get up here, and, and I'll be back in a moment. And I asked her, I said, can I FaceTime my husband? Because Matt at that point could not come with me to anything, and I'd already asked about that at my first appointment. And she said yes, absolutely. So once I got situated and she came back in, I called Matt, had him on FaceTime, and we were ready. And so she said it may be a little uncomfortable, but we're gonna see your baby. So I don't know if anyone has ever had an internal ultrasound. I've had one before, when I had some issues a couple years ago, so I knew like what to expect. But I had also known what my baby should look like what the sac should look like, what the baby itself should look like. And so she's searching. She said my uterus looked, or not my uterus, my bladder looked great. I said, oh, thank you. And so then she started searching for the baby, and she was searching, and I was just talking to Matt, and I was just like, hey, how you doing? Because he's on FaceTime, because I didn't want to turn it around until like it was ready. So he was just still looking at my face. And so she starts looking, and I noticed something weird as she was looking, but I was like, I'm just gonna wait. So the sac is supposed to be like oval-ish. I don't know how to describe it, but it's supposed to be oval-ish. It's supposed to have a distinct shape. And I knew this, and, you know, see the little bean of a baby. And I noticed as she's searching and she's trying to find what she's looking for, mine looked, so it had a round bottom, but the top, like the top of the oval, the top of the sac looked like this all the way across. So that's what it looked like. And she said, I'm not liking what I'm seeing. And so I looked at Matt, and then I was looking at the screen, because there was a screen across from me, and it was like a big TV, and then she was looking at it on her screen. So I still have Matt looking at my face, and he's like, what is she saying? And I said, just give me a second. She's just trying to find the baby. So then she kind of like stays on it, and then I could really see the little jagged marks. And she said, it looks like an abnormally shaped sac. And I said, okay. And she said, right here, and she's pointing with the little pointer, she said, I do see a fetal pole, but I don't see a heartbeat. And she showed me like where the heartbeat was supposed to be. And I said, okay. She said, I hate this. She said, I do want the doctor to look at it, but I don't have a good feeling about this being a viable pregnancy for you. And she was super, super sweet. So nice. So she said, I'm gonna stop now, and I'm gonna let you get dressed and let you go wait for the doctor. And I said, okay. And of course Matt's like still looking at me. And at that point I wasn't crying. And he said, what's she saying? Because he couldn't really hear anything. Like, he could hear me, but he couldn't hear what else was going on. So he was like, what's happening? And I said, just give me a second, just give me a minute, and I'll tell you in a minute. And so she walked out to let me get dressed, and I told him what she said, and it was just defeat. Because I knew, so, sorry. But at that point, I still wasn't crying. I don't think, like, it really hit me. And so I walked out, and she said, go and sit right here, and the doctor's nurse will get you. And I said, okay. And she said, she'll get you into a room. And I said, okay. And I mean, I sat there maybe 5 seconds, honestly, maybe not even that long. And the nurse came to get me. And she said, I'm so sorry. And she showed me into a room. She said, he'll be here in a minute. And then I just sat there. And I'd already told Matt, I'll call you when I leave his office. I'll call you when I get in the car. And he said, okay, I love you. He said, okay, I love you. I said, I love you too. So I sat there and waited. And I cried. And because I knew it was over. My doctor came in, and he really is the best doctor on the face of this planet. He really is. If he could treat me for everything, I would love it, because he is so kind and such a wonderful man. And he talked to me, and he said, there's absolutely nothing you could have done. to prevent it, and you absolutely did nothing to cause it. And he explained to me what happened. He said basically what I was going through was called a miscarriage, and it's when the embryo has died, but your body has not basically caught up to it. Your body has not gotten rid of the pregnancy tissue yet. So naturally. So he gave me 3 options to choose from of what could happen. He said that I could wait until the miscarriage happened naturally, but you never know when that is going to be. It could be weeks from that point. It could be days, it could be weeks. I could take some medicine over the course of a weekend that would speed up the process. And have it naturally that way, or not naturally, but have it done with the medicine. But I would be at home doing that over a weekend. Or he said that he could do a D&C, which is basically he just goes in and takes out the pregnancy tissue for me. He talked to me for a bit, and he said, if you choose to just call me back, and he said, you do not have to choose right now. He said, you can sleep on it. He said, you can sleep on it for a couple of days. And this was a Wednesday. So he said, you can sleep on it over the weekend. He said, you just let me know when you've made a decision. And, he said, if you want to take the medicine, then just call me back and let me know, and I can have that ready for you by Friday. He said, if you want to do the D&C, he said, I'm available for surgery on Friday. You can call me back and let me know. So I left, and I got in the car, and I called Matt, and I told him everything. I told him what the doctor had said. And we cried for a few minutes. And Matt actually had a doctor's appointment that morning, and he had to be on his way in a little bit. And so I told him, I said, don't cancel your appointment, just go to your appointment, because it was about his knee. And he's had trouble with his knees, and I didn't want him to miss this appointment. And I said, go to the appointment. I said, I'm not going to work today, because I was supposed to go into work. I said, I'm not going to work. I'm going to come home. And he said, okay. He said, and I said, I'll just see you when you get home, and we'll talk about it some more and decide what to do. And so I did go by my job, because we were having a party that day, and I had to take some food. And so I went, and 2 coworkers came downstairs and talked to me. And I told them what was happening, and I said, I'm gonna go home. And they were like, absolutely, like, dude, you don't need to be here. So I asked them, would they just tell the office so I didn't have to. And I was on my way home, and one of my coworkers texted me and was so sweet, and just, you know, showed so much love and care and kindness to me. And so I got home, and I waited on Matt to get home, and we talked about it, and we chose to, or he let me decide. He said, it's your body. You can choose what you want to do. Because I explained, if I did the D&C, then there would be like less problems for me personally. I wouldn't have to go through a lot of pain. I wouldn't have to go through the process of the miscarriage, and I really didn't want to do that. I didn't want to do that to myself. So I chose to have the surgery. So I called the office back, and I told them that I wanted to do the surgery, and then the scheduling people called the next morning and scheduled it, or it wasn't even that, I think it was the same day. All of that just kind of like is not blurry, but you know, it's hard to remember everything. So they scheduled it for Friday. We went and I had the surgery, and I wasn't nervous at all. I wasn't nervous to have it done. I cried a lot that day. That morning. I cried a lot that day. But I went in, I had the surgery, and I came home. I mean, once they actually, I had to wait a while, because I had to do the pre-op stuff, but once we got in there, or once they got me in there, I didn't take myself, once they got me in there and did the surgery, it didn't take long at all, and I was home, within a couple of hours, and I slept, for a couple of hours until Matt woke up to go to work, and, that was the end of surgery. Thursday, the day before, I was at home because I didn't go to work. I didn't go to work the rest of the week, and my coworkers were so nice. They brought flowers and food and goodies and treats and a card, and I'm so blessed for my coworkers and my friends, because I told my best friend that day, and I told my other friends, and they were all so nice. The amount of people, women and men, who have reached out to me and shared their stories, or just to say thank you for sharing yours, because I put a post on Facebook about the miscarriage and having surgery. The amount of love that we have been shown, that I have been shown, I can't thank people enough, honestly. I can't thank people enough for opening up to me about their struggles as well, or about going through the same thing that I was going through. A lot of those people said, "Lacey, you don't know how many people you're helping or encouraging by sharing what's happening." But the truth is, so many have helped me to know that I wasn't alone in what I was going through. I'm not the only person to go through it. All of you have been so helpful and so sweet and so kind. And I'm so thankful for all of you. I really am. I appreciate it so much, because I do feel like this should be talked about way more than it is, because in getting those messages and getting the text and stuff like that, it's amazing to me how many women have had to go through this, how many families have had to go through this, and we aren't alone. It surprises me. I don't want to say surprises, that's not the right word, and I don't have I rarely ever have right words. But it amazes me how many people go through this and you have absolutely no idea. Because some of these people who have messaged and poured their hearts out to me, I would have never ever thought that they had lost a child, that they had lost a baby, that they had lost a pregnancy. I would have never thought that ever. And a friend of mine who has gone through the same thing, she said it's the worst club to be in, but it's one of the most encouraging and compassionate clubs you'll ever be in. And it's so true. It's so true. We all have this one thing that connects us. And it's that we have little babies that aren't with us. But after surgery, I took the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, to just rest. I felt good on Friday. I didn't have any pain. And then on Saturday, I didn't have any pain. I had a little bit of cramping, but I didn't have any pain. And then on Sunday, I woke up and I had pain. But it wasn't, it really was like a 4. It went 3 or 4. Like, it wasn't bad at all. And then I decided I was going to go to work on Monday. And I went to work on Monday. And that was a bad idea. That was a bad idea for me. I stayed the whole day just because I knew I had stuff to do. And I didn't feel obligated. I felt like I needed to, just to get out of the house, because I was tired of sitting at home, and I was tired of just crying. I don't know, it's hard to explain, but I was tired of it. So I went to work on Monday, and it was probably like 2-3 hours in, and I cried. I said I shouldn't have come in today. So I took Tuesday off. I took Tuesday off again as well. And then Tuesday was great. I stayed home. I got to spend a lot of time with Matt, and I rested. I slept. I did some cross stitching, and I just mentally, I needed that. So then I went back to work on Wednesday, and I've been back at work ever since. And it was difficult. It was hard. The week after was difficult. The week after that was difficult. And that has led us to today. And today I am 7 weeks out from surgery. And I did not have any pain or any complications, like anything at all, after that Sunday and Monday, because I did have some pain on that Monday following surgery. But ever since then, I've been great. So when I went for my follow-up, I asked my doctor when we could try again, because we wanted to. He said, if you and your husband want to try soon, he said, you can do that. He said, I would just suggest that you wait until after your first menstrual cycle to try again. And so basically all I've been doing is waiting until my menstrual cycle would start. I'm 7 weeks out from surgery today, and I started yesterday, so we can officially try after this point. And it makes me very, very, very happy. We came away with some positives from this whole situation. One of the positives was we actually made a baby. And that was a problem before, because we had tried for so long. And so that was one positive. And the other positive was that it made it to my uterus, which is where it needs to be. So there were positives to the situation. I feel like once again, it's brought Matt and I closer because we've had to go through this together. I think he understands and I understand that it's been harder for me than it has for him. Only because it's my body, but he's hurt, and he's sad, and he's upset, and I don't know if he's been angry, because if he has been, he hasn't shown it. But a couple weeks ago, I had really been struggling because I was angry. Like, why? Why, after trying for so long and working so hard, why was it given to us and then taken away? And so I don't know what happened, honestly. I was listening to music on the way home. I don't know what song it was. I know it was on the Message on XM radio, but I turned the volume down and I just started talking to God and telling him that I was angry and that I was upset and I was hurt. And just how much it sucked. Because it sucks. And I let it out. I let all of my feelings out. That I don't want to say that I had been holding them in. It was just because I had let them out. I just hadn't said them out loud. I had cried about it, but I hadn't said them out loud. So I did, and I yelled, and I screamed, and I cried, and I let it all out, and I did that the whole way home. So I did that for like 20-25 minutes, and I pulled into the driveway. And I sat there for a minute, and I literally felt a weight come off of me when I did that, when I finished. And ever since then, my view of it has been different. Yes, I still have the hurt, and yes, I still feel like it sucks, because it does, but I know that it'll happen again for us, and I'm not angry about it anymore, because it wasn't time for our baby. And that's okay. It's okay. Do I wish that I was still pregnant? Absolutely. Do I wish that we were going to be holding a baby at Christmas? Absolutely. But that's not the reality right now. But it will be one day. But I'm in a good place now. Maybe not right at this very moment, because obviously. But overall, I'm in a good place right now. And we are very, very excited to be able to try again. At the moment, I am not going to be taking any of the medicine that I was taking before, because I don't know. When I talked to my doctor at my follow-up after the surgery, I asked him if we needed to do that, and he said, let's just wait after this first cycle, and he's going to check my progesterone again. I'll have that done on July 15th to check my progesterone levels. And if they are low at that point, then I would assume that he will give me the medicine again. But at this point, no medicine. We're just going to try it all natural to see if, to see what happens. And if we do need the medicine, if I need the medicine again, then absolutely I will take it to help me ovulate and do what my body needs to do for us to try again. And then if everything's fine, then we can try the natural way for a couple months. And if it's not, then we'll just try with medicine. So that's what's happening, and everything is great for us. We are going on vacation next week to Disney again, which we went to in March, and we're very happy and excited about that. And we are hoping that Disney is magical for us a second time, because that is where we conceived our baby. But right now it's just a trial and error again. We're back at square one, and that's okay, because as I've learned through this entire process, that is exactly what it is. It's a process. But I do just want to thank all of you who have reached out to me, who have shown us love and sent prayers for us, and because I definitely felt them. To all those who have shared your story with me, please, please, please know that I love you, and I think about you, and I pray for you, and I'm thankful for you for doing that. You didn't have to tell me anything. You didn't have to share your story with me. You didn't have to give me encouragement. But I thank you so much. So much. You have no idea how much it means to me. And to Matt as well, but especially to me. I don't want to, end when I'm crying. I love all of you, and I appreciate you watching these videos, especially this one, because I know it's rough to watch. I know it's rough to listen. So if you did, I really appreciate it. And I'll keep you guys updated, and we'll see you next time, and I love you very much.